In this section, we're going to discuss passing objects into methods as parameters and by implication, returning objects from methods. Java does pass by copy in every case. What this means is that the argument value is copied to the parameter. It is the value the parameter is initialized with. If we have a primitive data type, we will pass a copy of that primitive value. Parameter is initialized with it, so now two copies of that value exist, the argument and the parameter. If we're passing a reference variable, which we use to refer to an object, what we do is the argument value, which is a reference to that location in memory where the object data resides, is copied to the parameter. It's used to initialize the parameter. And now we have aliases. We have the argument reference variable and the parameter variable, the parameter reference variable, both referring to the same location in memory, the same object data. We don't pass the object itself, only a copy of the reference variable value. Here's an example. Let's assume we have a student object that is going to be passed into a method for some sort of processing. So we would take a student reference as our parameter. We have print student name, student S. So S is the parameter. We invoke it first by creating an instance of that class. We have new student Sue, age 15, GPA 375, and then we say print student Sue. Sue is a reference variable pointing off in memory somewhere where the object is that contains the name Sue, the age 15, and the GPA of 3.75. Whatever that location is stored in Sue. Print student Sue says take that reference variable value, that memory location, and initialize the parameter variable S with it. So now Sue and S are aliases to exactly the same location in memory. The print student name would then access that memory and pull out the word Sue, because that's the name, print it out, maybe do a few other things, and then return. When the return occurs, the parameter variable S goes out of scope, it's destroyed. No longer do we have that particular alias, and we move on to the rest of our code. That's how we pass an object to a method. We copy the reference variable so that we have an alias. And an implication of aliases means that any code that works on either the original reference variable or the alias can modify or update the object, and both will have access to that update.